Good morning, this is Sandra with Sandra Torno Art. We're going to be making some liquid white to use with acrylics. I've got titanium white, golden brand, open acrylic. This bottle has not been opened yet. It's got a full top and of course it's squirted out. And there's a lot on the top of the lid I'm just scraping off. And it's going to take me a minute to clean up my little mess here, so I'm going to explain what we're doing. In oil painting, you use liquid white to do some great blending and make some beautiful skies. I am going to show you how you can make that to use with acrylic paint. It's going to be with the titanium white open acrylic and the acrylic golden glazing liquid. And the ratio, I have paint everywhere. I've got a tablespoon measuring. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's not by weight. It's by what tool you use. So I'm using a tablespoon, so I'll put a tablespoon of each. I've got some press and seal I've cut. I'm going to put on top of this metal can I'm going to store it in so that it doesn't dry out. After I make this, I'm actually going to use one of the gray canvases that I gessoed in my previous video. And this was one of the reasons I did this. So when I put the liquid white on the canvas, I can see very clearly that it's clear and it's not too thick. I've got a little silicone spatula here and it's just not doing the job very easily. So I'm going to change to my palette knife here in a minute. But you just want to do equal portions, and I'm doing a tablespoon. It's going to make quite a bit, and just mix it thoroughly with the spatula. And when I say thoroughly, you're going to need to mix it 2 to 3 minutes to make sure everything's incorporated. Yeah, I gave up on the tiny stir stick. And it doesn't have to be exact, but I like to get my ratios pretty close because I've tested this several times and this is what works for me. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. And like I said, I'm doing 1 tablespoon of the golden open titanium white acrylic and 1 tablespoon of the liquid glazing liquid. As you can see, a drop fell out, so it's not perfect science, but I can tell you I've already made the painting and it actually turned out perfect. I'm not going to paint the painting with you today. I'll just show you the end result of using the gray gessoed canvas with the liquid white and the be sure and clean your utensils after you finish, because they will get sticky and dry. I mean, they're cleanable. And I also like to keep the rim of the tin clean, so when I screw the top on, it doesn't get sticky or hard to open. I bought these on Amazon and it was like a pack of 4, so I got to clean one out so I could show you. But as long as it's got a tight seal, it's just like your paints, it will stay. But that is one of the reasons I use the press and seal, because these are not professional tin and get the right lid. I'm trying to put the metal lid on the jar of open acrylic. Um, I These are not professional tins, so I don't know how well they seal. So that's why I use the press and seal on top. So I'm putting the liquid glaze in here. And we're going to add this to our acrylic. So if you're not familiar with liquid white, it's the Bob Ross style. Actually, he's got the brand for oil painting, and a lot of oil painters use it to help with blendability, to make beautiful clouds. Um, but unfortunately, that brand or type will not work with acrylics. So this is a substitution. um, you use a little bit of water with your acrylics, like on a Stay Wet palette. Um, these are acrylic products, so they're easily used together. Um, what I did is I just used the gray board and lightly, with a stiff brush, lightly painted over the gesso. You want a very thin coat. And I'll show you here um, how you can check that. And it may be in the next video. I don't think I'm going to add it to this one, or I may incorporate it. We'll see. But stir it very thoroughly. And I stirred this for 2 or 3 minutes. You just want to make sure you incorporate both products very well. We have a runaway tin. Luckily, I didn't spill it. I'm shocked. So everything's ready to go. It's ready to use. And I just wipe off any excess that may have dripped on the rim of where I'm going to screw the lid on. And then I take the press and seal and put over the top. And I want it to go over the ridges that are going to screw down to put a real good seal on this tin. And then just take the top and screw it on over the press and seal. And it's ready to go. Now I will tell you, as you use this, that press and seal may need to be replaced. But I don't put a full piece on there. I just cut it up as I need it. I've got a terrible mess, but it's cleanable. It's all washable. So now let's go to how we can use this liquid white. I'm actually putting the name, writing the name on the tin so that I know for sure what it is and that it's ready to go. But I'm going to give you a short sample of how I apply the liquid white to the canvas, and then I'll show you the end acrylic painting I did with it on there and how beautiful the colors are, so vibrant. The blending is beautiful, and I love the sky on it with the clouds. So here's the gray gesso canvas that I did yesterday that I'm going to use for my liquid white. And I'm just going to show you how I apply it on the canvas. I'm not going to actually paint the painting with you online, but I will show you the end result of the painting that I did yesterday with this liquid white. I'm wearing gloves because You're going to have to touch the canvas to make sure it's not too thick or too thin. It takes very little, just on the end of my bristles. And I'm just going to do little X patterns and get this onto the canvas. Now, just like with the regular liquid white, if it becomes too thick, just keep spreading it, or you can use a paper towel to wipe it off. I like to start off with very little and then add more if I need it. Now, this is why I like the gray canvas. I can tell by looking that I am covering all areas. I don't have to worry that I'm going to have an area that is not going to have the liquid white. I'm losing some bristle hairs here. Also, I'm going to share a tip with you. You can use a shop towel or the terry cloth towels to wipe off your brush, because my brush is dry. I'm not wetting my brush. And just get a real good coat on here, but not too thin, not too thick. And the way to test it, I'm going to show you here in a minute. You can still see the gray, but you can see that the white is covered completely. So see where I was holding the canvas, it actually took the white off. So you take your glove and you take your finger and you tap each finger in different areas. And you should be able to see a fingerprint and not a glob of paint. And you can see there where it left the, here I'm just wiping the liquid white off of my paintbrush. Now golden, and it depends on the environment. Like we have heaters going on here because it's winter time. You should have, 30, 45 minutes to do the painting. Get your sky in your base coat. So I just put that on and get it sealed. So I've got ultramarine blue acrylic paint, and I've also got titanium white that I'm going to use for my sky, and just a little bit of Payne's gray for some darkness. So pull it down on your brush, just like an oil painting, but you're going to do it for acrylic. This brush is really too big for this canvas. You could use another brush. I just had them out for a previous session, so I'm going ahead and using it. But if you feel like you need an oval or another type of brush, by all means use it. But see how beautiful this is blending? I'm actually just kind of marking in my horizon line here where I want the sky to stop. So if you keep blending, like if I started at the top and went down on a larger canvas, you would get a beautiful gradient uh, color. I'm leaving a light area there. But the more you work it, the lighter it's going to get because it's going to pick up that white. So you don't want to just keep rubbing it in. This is the titanium white. This is Amsterdam's brand. I buy it by the jugs. So here I've been working on it. I've got very billowy clouds going on. I've got my grays in there. I've got my white lining, and I've got 2 rows. Now, it's a lot of clouds, but my background is actually going to cover up a lot of this, and I wanted to make sure some of it showed through, so that's why I made it so big. Typically, you wouldn't have this big of a cloud. So that's about the end of the painting that I'm going to show you. You just barely blend this in and get the grays in there and get it the way you like it. I think I even added a little bit more blue. This is Payne's Gray here, but I added a little bit more blue and made some smaller, thinner clouds at the bottom. So with that liquid white, it just blends so beautifully, and just you've got time enough so you can work it without it looking overworked. And then once you've finished, and you can watch videos on how to paint like this, you want to blend the edges and you want to soften everything up. But here is actually the painting that I did. And like I told you, a lot of the clouds were covered up. I've got a few small canyons in the back, a small lake, and a large willow tree. And I actually ended up naming this one the Willow Point Outlook, and I put it in a plein air gold frame. To me, it actually has some characteristics of an oil painting, but it was done completely in acrylic with the liquid white acrylic version underneath. I thank you so much for joining me, and if this was any help to you, please let me know in the comments, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.